If you're selling your house, you want to make sure that you list your house with a broker that you're comfortable with. Obviously, you want to maximize the value so that you get the best price possible. It's always helpful to do some research and talk to people so you can get an idea of what your house is worth in the area that you live in. We have a lot of online tools available now with Zillow and a lot of these websites that can go on and put an address and give you an idea. So you always want to make sure that you're dealing with a reputable real estate broker who is going to market your home in a way that you get the maximum exposure to potential buyers. And if you're fortunate to get a price that you're comfortable with, at that point your broker is going to tell you, well, you need to hire a lawyer, because in the state of New York, all real estate transactions, the buyers and the sellers hire an attorney to represent them. And the seller's attorney's responsibility is to prepare the contract of sale and to put it out to the buyer's attorney. And there's a lot of standard clauses that are in there. Obviously, when you're representing the seller, you want to minimize the contingencies, because your goal is to try to close as quickly as possible. So you want to make sure that the buyer is in a position to afford the property, that they have the financial security to go and get a mortgage and be able to close within the time frame that you want to close. As the seller, there are certain responsibilities that you're going to have. You're going to have to make sure that the house, the roof is in good repair. Structurally, the house is sound. Your plumbing and electric and all of that, you're going to have to make representations that everything is in good working order. And hopefully, if the transaction goes smoothly, they'll get their mortgage. You'll be notified that they've been approved, and you'll set a closing date. And typically, a closing date can be anywhere from 90 to 120 days from the time you sign the contract. A lot of that depends now because of the banking situation, where the banks are much more diligent in making sure that the information you put on the mortgage application is accurate. So they scrutinize it more than they used to, and so it could take a little bit longer. But once the closing is set, you'll go to either the buyer's bank's attorney's office or some other designated area. And at that point, there'll be exchange of checks and things of that sort. And, typically a real estate closing, while it is important for the clients to make sure that they are properly represented, generally it's a pretty straightforward transaction.